by David HaMelech, he would honor a scholar that came in, but not barabim, not in public. In his room, he would stand up for him and everything. It says like he had these two tnuas. The Rebbe says this by David HaMelech, the two extremes. On one hand, malchus, royalty in its fullest meaning. I mean, war, waging war, everything. And punishing people as just little minor things. They're already punished. On the other hand, the state of humility, the state of bittul that David HaMelech had. It's the union of malchus. Sfiras Hama, the attribute of malchus. The Rebbe continues, so the Rebbe says this is all as it is in the feelings of the person, as it is in the nature of a person, in the characteristics of the person. But then it has to come down also in a practical sense. And the Aved of every Yid. It could even be the Aved is called Echad V'Achas Miyisrael. I mentioned once that there was the Rebbe once wrote letters, so the Rebbe Bechal would write, the Rabbeim wrote, Kol Echad V'Echad, every person. The Rebbe added, Kol Echad V'Achas, every man and woman. So it came once the secretary that wrote up a letter, so they prepared a letter, so he wrote it, Kol Achas V'Achas. Only the women. So the Rebbe says like this, the previous Rabbeim wrote, every man. I came and I said, Kol Echad V'Achas, every man and woman. You come here, you add another dimension, just for the women.
He didn't want to mix them together.
Yeah. Although there's a difference between the Oves and the Shvatim, our patriarchs were Yerusha, Livnei Amacharei Mechol Der Vader. Whatever we receive from our patriarchs, from the Oves, is an inheritance for every generation. Which means basically that everyone has incorporated in their soul from our patriarchs. But Avol B'chinas HaShvatim, Ruven v'Shimon v'Levi, Yesh Lecha Adam she'ein bei B'chinas HaMadregas Eila. You have a person that doesn't have all these Shvatim. Not all of them are incorporated in the person. The Oves, yeah, but not the Shvatim.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. You have people that don't have all of them. And the lashon of here is B'chinas HaMadregas. What is the difference between B'chinas HaMadregas? B'china means a percentage of something, not the whole thing. Madrega means that it's the whole level. So therefore, when we say he has the B'china of Chachma, that means he has a part of Chachma, percentage of Chachma. Madrega means he's completely on that level. The Kavanah is Be'ikar to his Ikar Aveda. So Aveda, so Oves, Aveda Ikris B'chol Echad Mi'Yisrael. Says, what is the Rebbe saying here? The Rebbe has to bavarn something. We just learned about Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. And suddenly, the Rebbe quotes that it says in the MaMaar from Tereir and Va'era that not necessarily that everybody could incorporate from the Shvatim. So if so, it disputes the point that the Rebbe is making earlier, that everybody has this Aveda. So the Rebbe says when it says that there are people that don't have this Aveda, this means that they don't have primarily the Aveda of Reuven, Shimon, Levi, all of them. But Masha'inkin Avedas Kol Echad Ma'Shvatim Ein Aveda Ikris B'Chol Echad Mi'Yisrael is not a primary Aveda in every Yid. Aval B'Chlolus Muvan, in generally it's understood, Sheyeshna Avedas Kol HaShvatim Gam B'Chol Echad Mi'Yisrael, that there is the Aveda, the service of all the Shvatim in every individual Jew. Avedas are Avedas Hanal de Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. The same thing is also the Aveda of Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and Yehuda. Is also that it's incorporated in every Yid. Relating to godliness in a visual sense, or hearing, or connecting through mitzvahs, or total nullification. We can move on Gam in Mashakose Parshas Seinu, as it's also understood as it says in our Parsha Vaychi, Isha Sheki Birchosei Beirachesam. That it sums up all the blessings that Yankov gave his children, the tribes, the Shvatim, so it says each one according to his blessing. Upirush Rashi, so Rashi adds another dimension, another insight. Yochol shalei kol olam kulam b'chol ha-brachas, so we would think he didn't include them in all the brachas, that each one he gave only their thing. Talmud leimar beirachesam, haynu shekol echad ma'shvatim kibul gam bircha shara shvatim, that every one of the tribes also received the blessings from the other tribes. V'im came move on. From this we understand. Sha'avedas kol echad ma'ashvatim sha'yechas l'chol echad be'echad miYisrael. From this we understand that the service of every one of the tribes applies to all, because everyone is blended from the others. ובפרט שכל השבטים הם בני ינקב וקיבלו ברכת ינקב, אשר כל ישראל נכללו בנשמתו של ינקב. Especially that all the Shvatim are the sons of Yankev, and they receive the blessing of Yankev, and all the Yidden are included in the Neshama of Yankev, because the Neshama of Yankev is a general Neshama, as we had it in Tanya in Igeres HaKedesh. Ki mevur b'Igeres HaKedesh, the fourth part of Tanya, in the letter 7, שהנשמתו יעשה נשמה כללי, שיעשה כללי מכל הנשמה שבישראל. That his neshama is a general neshama which consists of all the neshamas, similar to Adam Arishon. So b'meila, since it is b'nei Yankev, and everybody is included in neshama shel Yankev, b'meila they have everything.
So why didn't you just bless them all together?
In order to bring it down in worlds, they needed to specify details what each Aveda, because each one specifically has their Aveda, but they also have from others. So each one exclusively had their features. In addition to that, they received from the other, from all other. The same question has also been again to the Shvatim. By the Shvatim, by the Nesiim, we see by the Nesiim they're all a day, another day, another day. For the Balkeda, this is the easiest Kriya. He's just reading 12 times a copy and paste, again and again. Vayem Hasheni, Vayem Hashlishi. So Chassidus asked the question, the Rebbe asked the question, why is it that we have to repeat it the whole time? L'cheira, we could have said it once, and then say, V'chein Yehuda Reuven Shimon v'chulu. Yehuda was the first one, Yisachar Zvulun v'chulu. So the Rebbe says, when we look in the Medrash, we see that the Medrash comments on each one separately, the different things that are hinted in there, what they were doing. So, which seems like each one has their own Aveda. So therefore the Rebbe says, from this we understand, especially Al Chassidus, that each Shevet has their own Aveda. So there's two things. There's how each one is separate, and then there is how all are as one. Which this also coincides with another inyan that the Rebbe explained, B'negea to Mishnah in Shkolim. That the Mishnah says in Shkolim, an alter inyan was mechazet as nachanan. The Mishnah says in Shkolim, that it comes Aleph Rish Chedesh Adar, they announce two things. They announce that Machzis HaShekel, that you didn't have to give Machzis HaShekel. This is a month notice, because Rish Chedesh Nisan starts the new season for Karbanos. Sacrifices and the new fund in the temple, in the Beis HaMikdash. And then the second inyan is that they announce that people should not mix together two kilayim, shouldn't mix two plants together. So the Rebbe asked the question, L'cheira, there are two different messages. The message of Machzis HaShekel is that everyone only gives a half. A rich person shouldn't give more, a poor person shouldn't give less, and each one is only a half. That shows he's only a half. On the other hand, we say kilayim is that each plant, there are certain plants that cannot be mixed and planted together with other plants, because it is inyan of kilayim. The seeds shouldn't be planted together, because it's mixing together two different species, two different kinds of plants. So the Chayre comes out that each one is a Metzias for itself. Each one is an entity for itself. So the Rebbe says the lesson is taka true and holds true for both. On one hand, a Yid is only a part of Klal Yisrael. A part of Klal Yisrael, and Memele has the support of Klal Yisrael, and Klal Yisrael stands behind him. Together with that, a person should know that what they have, somebody else doesn't have. Everyone individually is a creation for himself, for themselves, a world for themselves, Elam Mole, and therefore a person that sustains another person or accomplishes another person, it's like he accomplished with a whole world, a whole complete world. And B'meila, from this we understand there's two things. There is the half a shekel, that each one is only part of Klal Yisrael, but then there is something that every person has their own entity, talents, potential, that someone else cannot substitute for them. And Memela, if somebody else, al derech, like we say, when somebody comes to eating matzah, somebody else cannot eat matzah for someone else. Somebody cannot put on tefillin for another person. It is something that everyone has to do on his own. It's called a mitzvah shebegufei. The same thing b'negiyah to the Shvatim. On one hand, the Shvatim are all blended together. Each one received the blessings from the other. Have also in themselves incorporated blessings that all the tribes received. Together with that, every tribe has something unique that the other tribes don't have.